Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Society Hall. So pleased you're here with us tonight. Yes, and I'm not sure if 3 banjos on the stage of Society Hall is a record or not, but it's close, you know. And I said, at least we don't have any accordions, although I could go get one or two, you know, but no. Anyway, I just wanted to announce a few shows coming up. You know, I usually call this up on my phone so I can remember what they are. So let me do that. But I know next weekend, oh, just a second. I'm going to have to find it. Because I can't talk and do this at the same time. And next weekend we have a wonderful Western singer-songwriter. He's also an author. He lives in Denver, but he has a place in the valley over on Forbes somewhere, kind of the south end of Forbes. Beautiful place that I always want to go visit. But his name is John Chandler, and he's just a wonderful performer. Big guy with a big voice. I mean, he's got this voice that just goes, and it's very engaging and great songs, great storyteller. Like I said, he's also a very successful Western author. Then Sunday, August 2nd, we have South Austin Moonlighters, which are a quartet, kind of wild and crazy guys from Austin that they call themselves the Moonlighters because they were all playing in other bands and doing other things, but they started getting together to play just for the fun of it. And there really is no better reason to play music than just for the fun of it, because that really works and people feel that, and then so they started getting popular. Let's hope they still have fun, even if they did get popular. But anyway, they're up on a Colorado tour, and we're pretty excited to have them here. It should be perhaps slightly raucous. We'll see. Saturday, August 15th, we have a wonderful singer-songwriter, a young woman from Denver named Ingrid Avison, and she's splitting the show with a touring singer-songwriter named Edie Carey. That should be really a lovely show. Saturday, August 22nd, we have another kind of co-bill thing. Sarah Golden, who is just an amazing vocalist and songwriter, and then a duo called Tips and Obermiller. They're all from Texas. You know, I don't know what it is, but all those folks from Texas like to come to Colorado in the summer. Why do you suppose that is? But anyway, we're thrilled that they like to come by here and share some music with us. And Friday, August 28th, Michael Martin Murphey is going to play here. We're actually not, they're renting the hall and they will be doing the promotion and all that, so, but we're going to help promote it too, so that I'm sure that'll be a sellout. And anyway, it goes on and on. There's just a lot of great stuff coming up. One that's particularly close to my heart, Sunday, September 13th, there's going to be a fundraising concert for Holland Dog Music Group, which I am on the board of, with an amazing lineup of folks. Eliza Gilkison, Ben Jones, who was one half of Beetroot Revival, which is an amazing duo, Walt Wilkins, and Susan Gibson, and myself will all be playing that night, so that'll be something else. And our annual celebration on September 26th, where we kind of block off the street and have an outdoor stage and raise some ruckus out there. My old friend Billy Bond is coming back to town. I played with Billy in a band called Hired Hands for many years, and he's got yeah, thank you. And he's bringing somebody up that he plays with down in Prescott. Kyle Phelan, and we're going to do a Hired Hands reunion too. So that will be free of charge, but we'll be telling you more about all that. But anyway, enough of all that. Tonight we've got a real treat. I think of Daniel as this kind of keeper of the lineage or the legacy of folk music, going way back to what I remember as the early folk bloom, revival, folk scare, as some folks call it, back in, say, the late 50s, early 60s, back when people like Tom Paxton were coming on the scene, and, you know, Peter, Paul, and Mary, the Limeliters, folks like the Kingston Trio. Well, it just so happens that that Daniel has written just a whole bunch of songs with Tom Paxton and done a couple of albums with him, and he's a member of the Limeliters that are still a performing act, and so we're thrilled that he can bring that lineage here with us to Society Hall, and so let's have some fun. Would you please welcome Daniel Boling.
Thank you, Don. Thank you all for being here. Hello. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. Feel free to sing that with me if you know it. Just feel free to sing it if you don't know it. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. Rambling around this dirty old town, singing for nickels and dimes. Time's getting tough, I ain't got enough to buy my little bottle of wine. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. Of course, this is not my song, it is a Tom Paxton song. There's a whole lot of Tom Paxton songs, you know, and you're gonna hear some new ones tonight that you've never heard before. It's a little hotel older than hell, dark as the coal in a mine. Blankets so thin I lay there and grin, 'cause I got my little bottle of wine. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. There's a pain in my head and bugs in my bed. Pants are so old that they shine. Out on the street, tell the people I meet, won't you buy me a bottle of wine? Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. Tom wrote this song back in the 60s, but it has come to his attention that everybody in France sings this song. They say it is an old French folk song. Tom knows better, but he still likes the way it sounds. Jolie bouteille, sacré bouteille, vous te me laissez tranquille. Je vous te quitter, je vous m'en aller, je vous recommence ma vie. Everybody. Well, a preacher will preach, a teacher will teach, a miner will dig in the mines. I ride the rods, trusting in God, hugging my bottle of wine. Last chance, bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. Yada-da-da-da-da-da-da. Thanks for helping me sing. I'd like the great Don Richmond to come help me play a few songs. Would you welcome Don? So when I'm going to get Tom, Tim, Bob, and Don mixed up all night, aren't I? Okay. When Tom told me that story about how everybody in France sings his song as an old French folk song, I wrote this next song for Tom, and he got a good chuckle out of it, and I put it on an album. And Don and I are going to do our best to render it for you. Bristow, Oklahoma, That's the town where he was raised. He learned to write a song, so that's how he makes his way. You probably know a bunch of his, but maybe not his name. And a few of them get listed under public domain. Public domain. He thinks it's funny. It's not like he writes them for all the fame and money. That's just who he is. He knows they're his. What's in a name someday? It's all public domain. He wrote a little ditty back in 1965 about a wino vagabond just glad to be alive. Now everyone from Les Enfants to Madames and Messieurs declares it a French folk song they've sung 100 years. Public domain. He thinks it's funny. It's not like he writes them for all the fame and money. That's just who he is. He knows they're his. What's in a name someday? It's all public domain. Stick it around. He's happy when folks like his songs, tickled when they pay. If he lives long enough, he'll earn back all it cost someday. He's not solely motivated by pecuniary gain, but he can't earn a penny off of public domain. Public domain. He thinks it's funny. It's not like he writes them for all the fame and money. That's just who he is. He knows they're his. What's in a name someday? It's all public domain. What's in a name someday? It's all public domain. That sounded pretty good, though. So I had met Tom a few times over the years at various places where we were both playing, festivals and such, but only to the extent where the next time we met, he'd say, "Have we met?" And but about 4 years ago, I went up to Glenwood Springs for a songwriter retreat that Tom was leading with a young fellow that lived up there named Jackson Emmer. I think Jackson has played here, hasn't he? Yep. Fine songwriter. Tom and I really hit it off, and he invited me to start writing songs with him. I said, "How are we going to do that, Tom? You live in Virginia, and I live in a van somewhere." He said, "Zoom. We're in the same room," which is pretty much the case. Ever since the pandemic started and Tom couldn't tour anymore, he started calling up his friends and saying, "Let's get on Zoom and write a song together." And that's what he's been doing. He's probably been writing, 500-600 songs a year with various people, which is more songs than most people have ever written in their lives who consider themselves professional songwriters. But so over the last 4 years, I think we're at 96 songs right now that Tom and I have written together, and we put 2 albums out of those songs. But I want to jump way back to the very first song he and I wrote together. And I'll run through the chorus of it real quick with you so that you can join us as it comes around each time. It's a folk song. It's going to come around several times. But it's a call and response. So I'll sing something, you sing the same thing right back to me. Sound like a deal? It's dry here. There we go. Old friends, last forever.
Last forever.
Old friends, don't fade away. Old friends, last forever.
Last forever.
Old friends, don't fade away. That's how it goes. All right, Don and I are going to kick this off. 2, 3, 4. Red and I go way back to the start of 2nd grade. We met in the school yard where all the games are played. I was it, and I tagged him, but I guess I tagged too hard. 'Cause he slugged me, and there we were, rolling around the yard. But you know we got over that. I don't remember how. And we became the best of friends, that's all that matters now. Red's the only one still here of all my childhood friends. One by one they pass away, every good thing ends. Old friends last forever,
last forever.
Old friends don't fade away,
don't fade away.
Old friends last forever,
last forever.
Old friends don't fade away. Red and I played baseball, we sang tenor in the choir. We dated 2 Smith sisters, living high but aiming higher. We were just like brothers, and then one awful day, the draft board called his number, and the war took Red away. And Red came back from Vietnam, a completely different man. He'd seen things he didn't think I'd ever understand. And for a couple years, we seemed to go our separate ways. Then one tearful, beerful night, we remembered better days. Old friends last forever,
last forever.
Old friends don't fade away, Old friends last forever,
last forever.
Old friends don't fade away. Let's play a chorus. Red's been slipping lately. We're not young men anymore, and memories seem sweeter than they ever did before. We're back there on that playground. We both remember when I'd touch him on the arm and whisper, "Tag, you're it again, old friend. Last forever, old friend, don't fade away." Here we go. Old friend last forever,
last forever.
Old friend don't fade away,
don't fade away.
Old friend
last
forever,
last forever.
Old friend don't fade away. Nicely sung. Nicely played, Don. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Well, I spent 10 years as a National Park Ranger and another 20 as an investigator for the U.S. Bureau of Land Management. Long enough in the government to know that the first line of this song is often considered to be the, the unofficial motto of the government. And these days, I think it's sort of the unofficial motto of a lot of corporations, too. I think you'll probably agree when you hear it. We're not happy till you're not happy. Give us one more chance, we'll surely make you rue the day. We're not happy till you're not happy. And please don't go away mad, just go away. Your call is so important. We'll be with you in a jiff. Listen carefully. Our menu is all new. If you're mad as hell, dial 1. If you're crying now, dial 2. If that doesn't help, don't blame us, we'll blame you. 'Cause we're not happy till you're not happy. Give us one more chance, we'll surely make you rue the day. We're not happy till you're not happy. And please, don't go away mad, just go away. Your flight has not been canceled, but it's certainly delayed. Your connection won't be happening this year. Your destination's Boston. Your luggage went to Austin. You'll be happy flying somewhere, but not here. Let's take it in. Slate of candidates, the best that we could find. They're crooked and they haven't got a clue. So vote often, vote early, vote for Larry, Moe, and Curly. They're awful, but they're good enough for you. And we're not happy till you're not happy. Give us one more chance, we'll surely make you rue the day. We're not happy till you're not happy. And please don't go away mad, just go away. But don't go away mad, just go away. Oh, thank you. Don, thank you for sharing those with me. I'm going to get you back up in the second set if you're still willing. Oh, yeah. Mr. Don Richmond. I am impressed all over myself with how he can step into something he's hardly ever even heard before. The man's got skills. Well, speaking of Don, I want to dedicate this next song to him and to Ruthie Brown for all that they have accomplished and created here. This is something really special that most communities don't have anything like. And it is not. It is, in fact, the title track of my newest album with Tom Paxton. We've done 2 albums where we wrote every song together. And the newest one is this one. It's called It Matters. And when we wrote the song, we both instinctively knew it was the title track of the album that we were already almost finished recording. And so we threw some other less worthy song out and put this one in instead. It's why a teacher teaches. It's why a writer writes. Why a demonstrator goes to jail for other people's rights. Why a daddy leaves for work most days before it's even light. Why a mama stitches school clothes in the middle of the night. It matters to your spirit. It matters to your soul. It matters that we do our best to keep each other whole. Things we set in motion never stay in our control. It matters that you do the things you do. It matters that you keep on being you. It matters. The night shift, the policeman on the beat, The checker at the grocery with the aching back and feet. They work behind the scenes. They leave nothing incomplete. They keep on keeping on. The bugle never sounds retreat. It matters to somebody you might never even meet. Someone who wouldn't know you if they passed you on the street. But somehow you help make their life a little more complete. It matters that you do the things you do. It matters that you keep on being you. It matters. Waste a random act of kindness. You don't forget the ones that you receive. The toughest foe I face is my own blindness. We all struggle sometimes. I believe it matters that you do the things you do. It matters that you keep on being you. It matters. You matter. This little banjo, I call him Stewart. He was built by the S.S. Stewart Company in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. No, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1891. 1 year short of being twice my age. And I figure I'll never get to play as much music as Stewart has already played, but I'm going to keep trying. Now, this little letter I'm going to sing to you about. The piece of paper has been lost to time, but the story is alive and well in my family. A little boy's letter, handwritten by me. Sick and tired of being the youngest of three, and love at the end was all you could see. Dear Mama, I hate you. Love, Dan. You knew as I grew some I'd probably find. The greatest part of me was gentle and kind. Thank heaven for mothers whose love's truly blind. Dear Mama, I hate you. Love, Dan. Dear Mama, I hate you. Love, Dan. You sure love the boy, I know you'd love the man. Thank you for making me all that I am. Dear Mama, I hate you. Love, Dan. I wish I could recall what you said when you said it. I know I was sorry the moment you read it. Like so many things in my life, I regret it. Dear Mama, I hate you. love Dan. I could sure use a few of your wise words to quote. How you tenderly handled my heartbreaking note. 'Cause I'm holding a letter our youngest just wrote. Dear Daddy, I hate you, love Sam. Dear Daddy, I hate you, love Sam. How to help a sweet boy grow into a fine man. You know we're all doing the best that we can. Dear Mama, I hate you, love Dan. Dear Daddy, I hate you, love Sam. Dear Mama, I love you, love Dan. I played that for some of my European friends, and they didn't quite understand the subtlety involved, but I know that you did. So it's been such an honor to get to write songs with Tom Paxton, because I grew up on his songs before I knew they were his songs. You know, I was a kid this big, and my mama had her own folk music program on Armed Forces Television in Misawa, Japan. And she would do a lot of the old traditional songs, but she'd do some of the more modern songwriter folk songs too, like Tom Paxton's stuff. And I thought, as I got a little older, I realized songs don't just exist. Somebody wrote them at some point. Appalachian ballads that came over from England and Ireland that are centuries old, way back there, somebody wrote that, and I started writing songs myself, and then I started figuring out who had written some of the songs I was in love with, and I discovered a number of them were Tom Paxton songs, things like The Marvelous Toy, and The Last Thing on My Mind, and Whose Garden Was This, and so many beautiful songs, and funny songs, and then I got to meet him, and then I got to work with him, and now we're writing songs together. Here's the last one we wrote for this new album, It Matters. And there was nothing else we were willing to throw off the album, so we just made a 16-song album instead of a 15-song album, because we thought this song was important. Send us old men to fight if there has to be war. Don't send the pride of our youth anymore. We couldn't save the world. These kids just might if we give them a chance. Send us old men to fight. The world can get by without old folks like me, but we've lived long enough not to trust what we see. So you better put on one hell of a show if you're gonna convince us it's our time to go. We couldn't save the world, these kids just might if we give them a chance. Send us old men to fight. Not as strong or as fast anymore, you can tell, but we're smart and we're mad and we're meaner than hell. When the blood gets so deep, we're practically swimming, and we need the war finished. Send in the old women. We couldn't save the world, these kids just might if we give them a chance. Send us old men to fight. Let's agree to a new international rule. No sending children fresh out of school. Let 'em live a good life, flourish and thrive. Give no one a gun till they're 75. Send us old men to fight if there has to be war. Don't send the pride of our youth anymore. We couldn't save the world, these kids just might if we give 'em a chance. Send us old men to fight. Thank you. So, when the pandemic came along, and all of a sudden Ellen and I couldn't be out on the road all the time in the van, I had to find something else to do. What I found to do was go hiking in the Sandia Mountains wilderness, which lies right beside Albuquerque. I've had so many wonderful hours up there. Well, speaking of the pandemic, I need to apologize right now for some of these fuzzy notes. I got my COVID booster a couple weeks ago. I never had any trouble with all of the other boosters or with the initial shot, and they don't tell you about it, but in the fine print you'll see it can cause neuropathy. And I'm here to tell you it's true because for the last couple of weeks I cannot feel my fingers. They are tingly and numb. And I tell you what, that's a challenge when it comes to playing a stringed instrument. But I still think it's worthwhile, but I'm sure hoping it's temporary. But back to the Sandia Mountains. Back before it was wilderness, there was grazing, livestock up there, sheep and cattle. So there's old barbed wire fence strewn all over the place, and it's all rusty and fallen down. It's not doing a lick of good, and it gets in the way of hikers, and it tangles up wildlife. Now, I mentioned I was with the government for 30 years, so I know how much easier it is to gain forgiveness after the fact than permission in advance. I haven't even asked. I'm just collecting some of that barbed wire and bringing it down the mountain when I get a chance. And usually that goes pretty smoothly. But I had this one near-death experience. It was not remotely humorous, but since I survived it and I got a little distance from it, I started thinking it might be funny after all, and I started writing this song. And I took it to Tom, and he said, "Oh yeah, let's finish that one. I love it." So here's an eventful day in the life of a retired park ranger. I was hiking the Sandias on a bright October day, hauling out some old barbed wire overdue to throw away. As I hiked, I started humming an old Kingston Trio song. I was fat and dumb and happy, thinking nothing could go wrong. And I had my can of bear spray. Any prudent hiker would. You know, I've often wondered if this stuff is any good. I don't know how it happened, if I tripped or fell or what, but I went tail over teacups and came down on my butt. And my arm wound up in a crevice, and I heard a hissing sound. I felt an odd vibration as I scrambled from the ground, 'cause I figured I was snake bit. Then I did a double take. It was a punctured can of bear spray, not an angry rattlesnake. You know they call this darn stuff bear spray 'cause bears can barely stand it, and hikers tote it with them. That's why they went and canned it. It's filled with chili peppers that you might like in your chow, but in your eyes and lungs, well, they're a bit less fun somehow. And there was bear spray on my flannel shirt and bear spray on my pants. On your naked skin, you know this stuff'll make you dance. I commenced disrobing quickly right there on the trail and staggered down the hill like some demented Chippendale. And And I drove my truck home praying that the cops were not around, 'cause I'd play hob explaining the strange stripper that they'd found. A fool half blind from bear spray in a beat-up antique truck. And the other cops would tease him, Joe, don't you have all the luck? So remember, if you're hiking under dale and over hill, Murphy's Law's alive and well, boys. If it can go wrong, it will. You can never be too careful. Take this tip from Ranger Dan. Keep your backside off the barbed wire and your bear spray in the can. Oh, come on, fingers. There you go. Thank you. If that stuff works anything like as well on bears as it does on people, you need to carry it. It is unpleasant in every possible way. I got 2 more songs for you, then we're going to take a little break. I want to mention that coming up in October, I am leading a Scotland folk tour. That's where I get a little group of 16 people together, and we all fly over to Scotland, and we spend 10 days going to interesting sites and seeing castles and going up through the Highlands, and just fascinating. And 4 or 5 of those nights we get concerts for our little group from Scots artists of note. And then 2 of the nights I get to do a little concert for the group. And it's just a great way to see a place you've never been or to return to a place that you've already been. I'm not the tour guide. They have professionals for that. I just get to go along for the ride and enjoy the music and make a little bit of it. I'm doing one in October, and it is sold out, but you can still get on the mailing list. And then I'm doing one a year from now, next July, and it's still got space. So we've got flyers up there if you're interested in that. But you can find out more about that at danielboling.com also. If you spell bowling right, it's Boling. And there is also a tab there for Uncle Dan's Critter Cam. And if you'd like to see what's going on the video cameras that I maintain up in the wilderness area when the people aren't around, that's what I started doing when I was doing all that hiking, was putting up some of these critter cams. So click on Uncle Dan's Critter Cam and you'll see some fine hijinks. Also, there is a video at my website of that song I just did, Bear Spray and Barbed Wire, not of the initial incident. I wasn't planning that far ahead, but I went back up and recreated it. And I've got cameos in there from some of my critters too. So, all right. 2 more songs and we're going to take a break. I do have the Daniel Boling Traveling Audio Boutique back there. It does not have all 11 of my albums. Several of the early ones are out of print, but there's a total of 10 albums up there. The 5 across the front are the new ones. That's my 2 with Tom Paxton and my Love Dan album that came out in between them, and then the 2 new ones from the Limeliters. And the newest one from the Limeliters, 5 of the songs on it are co-writes by me and Tom. So if you buy one off the front row for $20, you get your pick of one from the back row for free to go with it. If you just want one off the back row, it's $10, and if you want one of everything up there, I'd love to visit with you. And again, the proceeds for CD sales tonight are going to go towards the mortgage here, because this is a huge undertaking and a great leap of faith by these fine folks to keep improving this wonderful venue you have here. So this song does not have a sing-along, it has a hum-along. And if you are inclined to help me hum when I take to humming, I would love to have your help. Juan arrived from Cuba just a couple weeks ago. Ernesto came a few years back from deep in Mexico. Fernanda made it yesterday from 6 months on the run. She fled her home in Chile when the cartel killed her son. Tony's parents came from China 8 decades ago. He served the U.S. government for 30 years or so. 1889, without a penny in his hand, my great-grandfather worked his passage here from Ireland. And no one knows for sure when that first wandering hunting band walked across the Bering Sea when part of it was land. They might have been excited, they may have been afraid. Like millions who came later on, they put down roots and stayed. Persecution with a future far from certain, or shackled in a slaving ship, kidnapped, sick, and hurting, or seeking out the great unknown, a youth of barely 20, leaving famine-stricken shores to find this land of plenty. All of us are immigrants, no matter when we got here. Some of us came willingly, some of us were brought here. We may believe we should get more because we got here first. I have native friends who say that's not the way it works. And no one knows for sure when that first wandering hunting band walked across the Bering Sea when part of it was land. They might have been excited, they may have been afraid. Like millions who came later on, they put down roots and stayed. Thanks for helping with that. We will get to the part of the show where I sing more than I talk, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. One more song here to share with you before we take a break, and this has got a bit of preamble. I was raised in an Air Force family. My daddy was in the service, born in Bremerhaven, Germany, and we lived there. We lived on the island of Okinawa. We lived up on the northern end of the biggest island of Japan, in a little town called Misawa. We lived in Laurel, Maryland. We lived in San Antonio, Texas. We lived in San Angelo, Texas. We lived in Bloomington, Indiana. Well, as a result of all that moving around and living on Air Force bases, I did not meet my first hippie until I got to Texas Tech in Lubbock in the 70s. Now, some might posit that that's not where you'd expect to meet your first hippie. But it's where I met mine. His name was John Darlow Boswell. John wore beaded headband around his shoulder-length hair and Minnetonka moccasins every place he went, and he had split the side seams of his blue jeans so he could sew in paisley triangular inserts. John was not just a hippie, though. He was a folk singer. And he was a folk singer with a backstory because John had been a Navy frogman in Vietnam. Before there were SEALs, there were the frogmen. Well, John came back from that horror, and he bought a 1963 GMC pickup truck with a sky blue paint job. And he built a wooden house on the back of it, and he had mud flaps made that read Old Blue Passing Through. John played every U.S. state and half of the Canadian provinces over 30 years. But he said to start out, he knew he wanted to be a folk singer instead of anything else in the world. And he said in order to know how to do that best, he wanted to meet the folk singer. So he drove Old Blue up to Beacon, New York, and knocked on the door of the log cabin that Pete Seeger and his wife Toshi had built by hand, and he introduced himself. Well, Pete Seeger was a special kind of man because he was glad to meet John, and he looked out in his parking area and said, I see you've got a house on your truck. Why don't you stay a while? And we'll do some work together, and I'll teach you some things about folk singing. John was ecstatic, but he was also a little concerned because he did not want to overstay his welcome. He didn't need to worry about that. Pete had been through this before. John says the third morning he was there, about 6 o'clock he heard on the glass at the back of the truck, and he opened up the hatch, and there stood Pete with a cup of coffee in his hand and said, John, since you're leaving this morning, I thought you could use a cup of coffee. A fine and gentle way to deal with that situation. But he invited John back many times. They became good friends. John learned a lot from Pete, and I like to think he shared a fair amount of it with me. And John's gone on now, but I still remember him dearly. I'll tell you one more story on John, and then we'll start the song. Because it had been years since I left Lubbock, and I hadn't seen John, and I found out he was camped in Cave Creek, Arizona. At the time, Ellen and I and our daughter, who was a toddler at the time, were living in Barstow, California. That daughter of ours has a toddler daughter herself, and she's turning 40 next month, so this goes back a while. We drove over there to catch up with John, and he wasn't anywhere to be found. But we asked around, and they said, oh, he'll be back tonight, he's got a gig. And in he rolled, grinning from ear to ear. I said, John, where have you been? He said, let me tell you a story. And he proceeded to, and I wrote this song from it, because an old-fashioned circus had come through town. And they said after the second show, any of you strong young men want to help us take down the tents? John thought that sounded like fun. He helped him out, and he enjoyed it so much that the next morning at the ripe young age of 48, John Boswell ran off with the circus. That's where he'd been. Raising the big top for Saturday night in a small Arizona town. Unrolling the canvas and hiking the poles, tying them fast all around. When the rigging's all up, we'll have 6 hours rest, then put on a show for the town. Then we'll put on another, then put it to bed. But first all the rigging comes down. We'll be making the jump in the morning, so we're striking the canvas tonight. Come tomorrow, we're raising the big top again. We'll be rolling before it's good light. I'm a hand in a traveling circus of 18. We tour the small western towns, giving 2 shows a night. We've done nearly 200 in 3 months since I started out. But next week, there's a break in our schedule, 3 days that haven't been booked as of yet. And I sure hope they won't be. I need a vacation. Probably the last one I'll get. We've been making the jump every morning, so we're striking the canvas tonight. Come tomorrow, we're raising the big top again. We'll be rolling before it's good light. Well, Jerry plays organ while Jim swallows fire, and Johnny is a jack of all trades. Aerialist Maggie soars over the crowds in the spider web rigging we've made. And the throng gets such thrills as the pageant unfolds, color and light everywhere. But by 5 in the morning, if someone should look, he'd find nothing but tire prints here. For we're making the jump in the morning, so we're striking the canvas tonight. Come tomorrow, we're raising the big top again. We'll be rolling before it's good light. On a good night, I'll make $40. On a slow night, I'll make 25. It's not much of a living, I know, but it serves to keep me and this old truck alive. Till I find something better to do with my life, or someplace else I've never seen. And the circus will go on like before I joined, as though nothing occurred in between. They'll keep making the jump every morning, so we're striking the canvas tonight. Come tomorrow, they're raising the big top again. They'll be rolling before it's good light. Let's visit a little bit and we'll back up in about 15 minutes. Thank you all. Thank you. Y'all ready to get started again? Let's do it. I remember it now. If you've sat upon that sofa now till all the springs have sprung, watched so damn much football, heard so many anthems sung, started thinking all your strings are just about to come unstrung, you might be right. Start tonight. Get a life. Get your butt in gear. Get out and hit the bricks. Get a life. Start today and stay away from politics. John Prine said, blow up your TV. Try to get to know your wife. Rediscover that you love her. Get a life. There's a tangled field of lazy bones you've got to get across, and you're about to let that lazy boy become your albatross. You've been sitting still too long, my friend, that's not a rash, that's moss. You know that's right. Start tonight, get a life. You're full grown, give your own damn butt a kick. Get a life. We're in clover, but it's over awful quick. A.P. Carter said we're gonna meet with darkness and with strife. So keep on the side that's sunny, get a life. You can't be a rolling stone if you're not rolling. The more things change, the more you stay the same. The world is making hay while you're out bowling. You'll never win if you don't get in the game. Get a life, get outside, catch your stride, clear your head. Get a life, we'll have lots of time for loafing when we're dead. John Prine said, in spite of ourselves, we're the big door prize. We'll spite the noses off our faces, get a life. We'll spite the noses off our faces, get a life. Thank you. Robar, you can take back that extra in the wedge. It's a little much. Thank you, though. Robar does a great job with the sound here, doesn't he, folks? And we've also got Brian back there handling the video cameras and live streaming this out on Facebook and YouTube. It's a big job. Well, here's a song that Tom and I just wrote about a month ago. Too new to be on any of the records, I'll tell you right now, because we always have somebody come up and ask for it. I guess we'll have to make another record. Tom lived from about 10 years old on in Oklahoma for a lot of his growing up, and he went to college in Oklahoma. And so he knows a good deal about the weather there. Although he says in all his years he never actually saw a tornado, but he sure saw some things that wanted real badly to be tornadoes. The topic came up because about a month and a half ago, the Limeliters and I were on tour, and the guys were a couple hours ahead of me, leaving Texas, going up to Oklahoma. And as I crossed the Oklahoma line, my phone just started screaming at me. I looked down and it said tornado warning. And I thought to myself, you didn't need to tell me, I can see what's going on here. I was already looking for an exit. And by the time I found that next exit, you could not see. It was raining so hard. But I was lucky enough to find one remaining spot under the covers of a rural gas station where everybody was hunkering. And I slipped that big van in there and waited out the hail and the lightning, and I tell you, it was an eye-opener. But Once it was time to head up the road again, I started writing this song. And I thought, I bet Tom can relate to this. So I wrote a couple verses and a chorus. And then I made myself stop so Tom and I could finish it together on the next Thursday Zoom. Virgil grabbed his pole, whistled up his pony Concho, headed for a favorite fishing hole that only Virgil knew. He'd been working hard since sunup, doing chores around the homestead. Time to wet a line, maybe rest an hour or two. The youngster whistled all the way, it seemed like such a lovely day. Puffy clouds of white set in a sky of turquoise blue. But Virgil did not make it home. Concho showed up on his own at daybreak with the lead rope dragging through the morning dew. Quapaw, Wichita, Osage, Pawnee, Kiowa, Comanche, Cherokee, all at Mother Nature's mercy when it's time to sweep things clean. And those Oklahoma clouds turn green, when those Oklahoma clouds turn green. Virgil felt it coming like the earth itself was humming. He jumped off a Concho, yelling, "Run, boy, save yourself!" Scrambled partway up the riverbank, said a prayer and quickly sank as deep as he could shinny in a skinny limestone shelf. And it seemed that all that he could hear was his own heartbeat in his ears, despite the thunder crashing as the twister whirled and moaned. With your face against the ceiling, the dark can be revealing. Virgil could not shake the feeling that he was not alone. Quapaw, Wichita, Osage, Pawnee, Kiowa, Comanche, Cherokee, all at Mother Nature's mercy when it's time to sweep things clean. And those Oklahoma clouds turn green, and those Oklahoma clouds turn green. I'm not sure how long I lay there, but the spirits lay beside me. Midnight turned to morning and my dream became a dance. The dance became a vision of the life that lay before me. When they found me, I was cradling this old Comanche lance. Now I ride out on Concho's grandson with a sharp eye on the weather. I made it through that one time, but I would not count on two. As we ride along the ridgeline, that's the river down below me, I know the spirits know me, and they do the same for you. Quapaw, Wichita, Osage, Pawnee, Kiowa, Comanche, Cherokee, all at Mother Nature's mercy when it's time to sweep things clean. And those Oklahoma clouds turn green, when those Oklahoma clouds turn black and green. Thank you. Ellen and I will celebrate our 43rd wedding anniversary on this tour in Scotland coming up in October. We've been together 5 years longer than that. It's a long time. And most of the time we do pretty well, but we spend a great deal of our time together in very close quarters in a van. Sometimes our conversations wind up going something like this. What did you mean when you said that thing you said? She said to me. I tried to say that I couldn't say just what I'd said, and then she said, you made me feel like you didn't feel like it mattered how I felt. You know what I need, but don't give it to me. You just keep it to yourself. You never say what I want to hear. You run away when I need you near. Why can't you reinvent yourself the way that I want you to be? If you just change a million little things, you'd be the perfect guy for me. Then she said, you never think you need to think about what I think of things. I think you probably think you do, and when you don't, it's 'cause you won't ever understand. I gotta understand for what Let's start that verse over. Never happened before, but there's always a first time. How does it start? That's it. You never think you need to think about what I think of things. I don't. This happens every once in a while. I call it a senior moment. Give me a second, I'll be right back. A power nap. I got it. You never think you need to think about what I think of things. I think you probably think you do, and then I thought I had it. I think you probably think you do, and well, that was fun. Give me a second, I'll be back. You never think you need to think about what I think of things. I think you probably think you do, and when you don't, it's 'cause you won't. I got it. Oh, are you here? You never think you need to think about what I think of things. I think you probably think you do, and when you don't, it's 'cause you won't ever understand. I gotta take a stand for what I thought was understood. I need you to do everything you do just the way I think you should. But you never say what I want to hear. You run away when I need you near. Why can't you reinvent yourself the way that I want you to be? If you just change a million little things, you'd be the perfect guy for me. I'm starting to suspect I'm never gonna be what you wanted me, but you never see it's gotta work both ways. And you never say what I want to hear. You run away when I need you near. Why can't you reinvent yourself the way that I want you to be? If you just change a million little things, you'd be the perfect girl for me. Perfect girl for me. You'd be the perfect girl for me. You are the perfect girl for me. Ellen Boling.
This year he had a gig in Estes on my birthday, and he's got a gig on our wedding anniversary. But that one is in Scotland, so I think I'll forgive him.
Oh, thank you, Ellen. I didn't even realize you were over there.
And I wasn't even tell him. Indeed, I saw her.
Well, I like to say the hard drive is in perfect order, but the random access memory, not so much. Fortunately for the videos, post fact, I can do a little editing there. I'm afraid the live stream, though, that's kind of cast in concrete. So, oh, well. So that's kind of a backhanded love song. Here's one that's a little less that way. Early in the morning, the air is still. Mist lies deep at the bottom of the hill. Oh, so careful so your mama won't see. Come meet me by the sycamore tree. Soft quicksilver heart of the night, earth asleep and the moon so bright. Slip out the screen door silently. Come meet me by the sycamore tree. Down by the creek where the sycamore grows, strip our bodies down to our souls. Skin so thin, a heartbeat shows. Praying nobody but the sycamore knows. Now and then in the middle of the day, everyone else is called away, and you find a little time that's free. Come meet me by the sycamore tree. We were so young then, but the world has changed. Everything is rearranged. We're old folks now, anyone can see. But you still meet me by the sycamore tree. Down by the creek where the sycamore grows, strip our bodies down to our souls. Skin so thin, a heartbeat shows. Praying nobody but the sycamore knows. Come meet me by the sycamore tree. I want to do a song for you that I had nothing to do with writing, neither did Tom Paxton. Tim Henderson was a fabulous songwriter, fabulous ballad writer. Many of Tim's songs would simply rip your heart out. This is not one of them. This is the other side of Tim Henderson. This is his ode to the much maligned and misunderstood art of sexing chickens. It's a sing-along. My cousin Hester is a baby chick sexer. Nobody knows how she knows what she knows. Show her 10,000 chicks, there's not one'll perplex her. And nobody knows how she knows what she knows. She can sex 'em by day, she can sex 'em by night. Little hens on the left, little cocks on the right. Wait 90 days, you'll find out she was right. And nobody knows, nobody knows Nobody knows, nobody knows. Nobody knows how she knows what she knows. Nobody knows how she knows, but she knows. And her mother, Rose Pfister, my own mother's sister, says nobody knows how she knows what she knows. Telling each little chick miss from each little chick mister. And nobody knows how she knows what she knows. Folks don't want cocks that crow, they want hens that lay eggs. And you can't tell a whole lot just by spreading their legs. And Hester won't tell, though you plead and you beg. So nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how she knows what she knows. Nobody knows how she knows, but she knows. And her father, old Cotter, he says of his daughter, nobody knows how she knows what she knows. She knows thousands of things there's no way she should oughter, and nobody knows how she knows what she knows. She's the best chicken sexer for hundreds of miles, but I fear there's more witchcraft than knowledge in her guiles. And Hester just smiles, that inscrutable smile, and won't say how she knows. Nobody, so nobody knows. Nobody knows how she knows what she knows. Nobody knows how she knows, but you got that right. The great Tim Henderson. Thank you. Thanks for singing. Hey, Don, you ready to do a couple of more? Yeah. All right. Don, Richmond. Now, this one is a true story of a war hero from the Korean War. And it has a tie-in to Alamosa that we will tell you about after the song, because we don't want to give it away too soon. That's almost in tune. How's the mandolin?
Almost what?
The guitar's almost in tune. How's the mandolin?
Well, let's see.
Sounds pretty close to me. Whew, that sounds beautiful. Okay, now we're ready. 1, 2, 3. Morning sun, that's what she was named by Kim Huck Moon. Born to run, sold to serve a brave Marine platoon. That stable boy, he cried when they had to say goodbye. But he really had no choice, of course. His sister lost a limb to a landmine up to him, so Kim bought her a new leg with that horse. Sarge was world-renowned for eating anything she found. She'd help herself to beer from your canteen. But when the chips were down, she would never horse around. Sergeant Reckless made a mighty good Marine. Sergeant Reckless made a mighty good Marine. always ate what we ate, and a whole lot more besides. Scrambled eggs and Coca-Cola, helmet liners on the side. Working right beside us, sleeping in our tents at night. We all called her reckless, always ready for the fight. She carried ammunition to the boys up on the line, working with no handler most the time. Load her up and let her start. She knew every route by heart, and we knew Sergeant Reckless would be fine. Sarge was world-renowned for eating anything she found. She'd help herself to beer from your canteen. But when the chips were down, she would never horse around. Sergeant Reckless made a mighty good Marine. Sergeant Reckless made a mighty good Marine. Among America's top 100 all-time heroes, bravery under fire set that gentle mare apart. Honors that no other horse but she knows. 3 bronze service stars, a pair of purple hearts, from a racetrack in Korea to a proud U.S. Marine. Retired to Camp Pendleton for service that she'd seen. Officially staff sergeant, she was treated like a queen. Sergeant Reckless made a mighty good Marine. Sergeant Reckless made a mighty good Marine. Sergeant Reckless made a mighty good Marine. So the company that Sergeant Reckless was part of was the Recoilless Rifles. So they already called themselves Reckless. And when this little Mongolian racing mare was bought by their captain to help carry the ammunition over those steep hills in Korea, they called her Reckless, just naturally. Those shells for the recoilless rifles weighed something like 48 pounds apiece. So it was next to impossible for one soldier, one Marine, to carry 2 rounds up to the front lines. And Sergeant Reckless could carry 5 easily, and sometimes 8 or 9. And she truly would follow the path once she was shown it once, until she was shown a different path. And so they could just load her up and let her start. And the first time one of the guns went off near her, she came up with all 4 feet. After that, she was fine. She had learned it. She was a smart, smart horse. And in one particularly heated battle, she made something like 43 round trips in one day. Anyhow, so she was private property. This captain had bought her with his own funds. She wasn't a government animal, but she did have rank. She is actually the only animal ever given rank in the U.S. military, as far as I have read. And they wanted to get her back to the States when her time was up over there carrying ammunition. And they looked and looked and finally found a boat captain who would take this horse on board, and they got her back to California, and she lived out her days at Camp Pendleton. She had 3 foals. Everyone was under strict orders from the commandant that Sergeant Reckless was not to be ridden. She was retired. Anyway, so the tie-in to Alamosa, I will let Don tell you about it, since he told me about it today.
Yeah, I mean, our dear friend Jocelyn Russell, who is she's the sister of my brother-in-law, so she's an extended family member, an incredible sculptor of large bronze, monuments. She did a sculpture of Sergeant Reckless for, I don't know, We looked it up. What
That
was
at
for the
Corps
Marine
Museum.
for the Marine
in Virginia.
Museum,
Yeah.
and Jocelyn has even done some presentations here at Society Hall of whatever work she had going at the time. I can't remember if she did one for Sergeant Reckless, but yeah, if you look that up, our dear Jocelyn from Alamosa, Colorado, made a monument of Sergeant Reckless. So I thought that was a pretty cool little
Very cool.
circle.
Glad you told me.
I love how the circles come around and connect sometimes. But anyway.
Didn't her sister write the little book about Reckless? I had that book at one time.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
She's asking if Jocelyn's sister wrote a little book about Reckless. Since she hadn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know there's a biography now. I can't think of the name of the writer, but I will look and see if possibly it's her sister. I was really pleased because when I started that song and then brought Tom in on it, I was working strictly from what I could find on Wikipedia, because in the morning readings that we have of Ellen, who's the Heather Cox Richardson, writes. She's a historian, but she writes about modern issues and puts them in historical perspective. And one day she did a piece that included 10 famous horses. And there was a little blurb about Sergeant Reckless in it. So I went and looked Reckless up on Wikipedia, and everything that's in that song came from the Wikipedia article. And then I found there was a book, and I got the book, and I read the book, and I was greatly relieved to know that we did not have to rewrite the song, because everything we needed was already there. So one more story on Tom. Go ahead.
Is by Robin Hutton.
Robin Hutton. So probably not the sister.
Daniel, people, it's pretty fascinating actually. If they go on the website now,
Yeah.
Jocelyn and I think Robin I don't know if they're back from Korea.
Oh,
They
wow.
were over there just the last month, and they were treated like royalty.
Fabulous.
Even the president of the country and this, I mean, you almost have to read what they did, because it's just like, wait a minute, Jocelyn, you're from Alamosa.
Oh, I'm going to go look, yeah.
It is what an honor she's brought to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
In that area and all that type of stuff.
Well, and Tom and I have been trying to get that song to somebody in the Marine Corps who would care about it, and I haven't been able to get an answer back from Ms. Hutton out through her website, so maybe I can get in touch with Jocelyn and she can help me. That would be great. That would be great.
Yeah, we can get it to Jocelyn.
Well, one more story on Tom Paxton that I forgot to mention earlier on is when I told him I was coming to play in Alamosa, he said, "I love Alamosa. It's been 20 years since I played there," he says, "but I played on this train that left Alamosa and went up on a mountain pass, and everybody who was coming to the show was on the train with me, and we went up there and we did the show, and we came back," and he says, "and the green room was the last car on the train, and it was the club car from the train, The City of New Orleans," about which Steve Goodman wrote the song that Arlo Guthrie made famous. So what a wonderful circle that is. I wish that still exists. I know you played on it many times.
I wrote it a bunch of times with various people, and I loved that. Yeah, I was so sorry that it could not keep going, but it was a whole bunch of fun.
All right. Well, here's a much requested song of mine that I have not done in a while, but I could not pass up the opportunity to play this song with Don Richmond on fiddle. So
thank you.
we will see whether my neuropathy-affected hands will get me through it or not, and if not, you'll just have to listen to my voice and Don's fiddle. There's no place like home. That's the way the story goes. And you can't get there from here, as far as anybody knows. It's each man for himself. Devil take those with the least, skipping hand in hand to hell, through the belly of the beast. Dorothy's getting so much older, she wouldn't recognize the land of Oz today. That dreary Kansas prairie couldn't hold her. She had dreams only her nightmares could betray. If I only had the heart, if I only had the brain, if I could pluck my courage up and take the chance. Expect no invitation, accept no condemnation. Tug those ruby slippers on and try to dance. Where do we go now? Are we who we thought we'd be? You still look like you. Most days I still feel like me. Have we really been on our own here all along? We stayed on those yellow bricks. So tell me what the hell went wrong? Dorothy's getting so much older, she wouldn't recognize the land of Oz today. Thought she'd do all right just like the wizard told her. But who among us outgrows all our childhood fears? When the emeralds all turn plastic and the tin's all gone to rust, we've given up on Glinda coming back to rescue us. When you're the only one left I can trust. If I only have the heart, if I only have the brain, if I can pluck my courage up and take the chance. Expect no invitation, accept no condemnation. Tug these ruby slippers on and try to dance. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? Thanks for saving me, Don.
Beautiful.
We got just 2 songs left. Everybody got 2 songs left in them? All right. Here's another one you do not know, but I want you to sing with me. Don, thanks again so very much for joining me. Don Richmond. Someday, we will understand. Someday, we will understand, just like that. Someday, we will understand. Someday, we will understand. When we give as much respect to teachers as to movie stars, when we spend as much on homeless shelters as on prison bars, when we see our fellow man in need and give him some of our someday, we will understand. Someday, we will understand. When every child has food enough and somewhere safe to sleep, and a kind and loving family teaching values he can keep, when in a land of plenty, no one's living on the street. Someday, someday, we will understand. Someday, someday, we will understand. When humanity's diversity is a reason to rejoice, when the hopeless and forgotten finally have an equal voice, when basic human dignity is a birthright, not a choice. Someday, someday, we will understand. 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 Thanks for helping me sing that. I mentioned all those years I spent out on the public lands with the Park Service and the Bureau of Land Management. One of the things, I learned a lot of things, but one of the things I learned was when people go on vacation to our public lands, a lot of them do some really, really dumb stuff. And since some of these folks go to such lengths, such creative ways to remove themselves from the human gene pool, I thought that they deserved their own epitaph. So here it is. You went to the desert this weekend to practice with your new shotgun. By blowing big holes in saguaro cactus, you thought it was lots of fun. And of course you were tweaking as usual, half out of your brain on meth. You put one too many rounds at the base of a big one. He fell on you and crushed you to death. Oh well, Darwin would have been so proud. Darwin would have been so proud. The way the fate shot you right out of the gene pool, Darwin would have been so proud. And you were lounging around in your lawn chair, wishing you knew how to fly, when suddenly you had a flash of brilliance, figured you should give it a try. A dozen large balloons full of helium lashed you that lawn chair tight. Next thing you knew, you were cruising above 10,000, watching 747s go by. Oh my, Darwin would have been so proud. Darwin would have been so proud. The way the fate plucked you right out of the gene pool, Darwin would have been so proud. If you're one of the many wading in the shallow end, you don't need to worry about dying in obscurity, friend. But the competition is getting tough. Show some creativity, and remember all awards are given posthumously. I love that word. Can you tell my mother was an English teacher? The highway patrol found the wreckage burning at the base of the cliff, and 100 feet up, a smoking crater where they figured a small plane had hit. But from the huge spot scorched on the asphalt, 3 miles away straight down the road, they finally pieced together quite a different story, and this is what the record showed. You were a surplus gadgetry junkie, and that week you pulled off quite a coup. You found an unused solid fuel booster rocket. Figured it was made for you. You took your 67 Impala and welded that bad boy on top. Found a nice straight stretch of deserted highway and fired that sucker up. Wow, Darwin would have been so proud. Darwin would have been so proud the way the fate blew you right out of the gene pool. Darwin would have been so proud. If you're one of the many wading in the shallow end, you don't need to worry about dying in obscurity, friend. But the competition is getting tough. Show some creativity and remember all awards are given. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Darwin would have been so proud. Oh, Darwin would have been so proud. The way the fate blew you right out of the gene pool. Darwin would have been so proud. Thank you, folks. I really appreciate you coming out tonight. I appreciate Society Hall being here and all the work it's taken, and all of you helping to contribute to the fund to retire that mortgage on the wonderful addition to the porch out there. You got a great thing going on here. Tell your friends, make sure they show up. And thank you for showing up and for singing, and it makes me feel really good. And I'm going to tell Tom that Alamosa is alive and well. And if he ever decides he wants to perform again, he needs to come back. Oh, thank you. That would be wonderful. Thanks again, folks.